show, and my guest today, and I'm really, really excited about my guest as we're here live on the Neil Haley Show, is Froy Gutierrez, and we're going to talk about The Strangers, Chapter 1 in theaters nationwide on May 17th. How are you, Froy? Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. It's gotta feel always awesome when you have a role like this, especially with something that's going to be in theaters nationwide. So tell us about The Strangers Chapter 1 without giving things away, and then about your character.
Yeah, The Strangers Chapter One is it's a horror movie about this couple who goes on a cross country road trip and things kind of go awry. And it's kind of a reinvention of a cult classic horror film called The Strangers from 2008. And my character, his name is Ryan. He's a really sweet. He's a sincere guy. He's kind of a tech bro, and yeah, he's a good dude.
And Ryan, kind of, the preparation for Ryan as a character is to basically a good boy, right? Good guy.
Kind of, yeah. He definitely starts the film a bit more of a curmudgeon, but I think a lot of the work was about making sure that the dynamic between Ryan and Maya, who's the lead of the film, played by Madeline Petch, making sure that their relationship felt real and grounded, and like people that you know in your daily life, someone that you'd want to root for, you know.
And what's crazy is as I watch the trailer, is it shocks you quickly in this movie, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot of like tension and release and building and yeah. I mean, there's so many incredible practical set pieces that our director Rennie Harlan built, and yeah, I remember shooting the film and kind of being on running on adrenaline in a lot of ways, just because of how action packed it was, and I definitely got the same sense watching the movie back.
Are you a horror movie fan?
I definitely am now. As a kid, though, I was very skittish, so I was definitely put off by them after I watched Signs in Mexico with my cousin. But yeah, I'm very into them now. What about you? Do you like horror?
Yeah, I like horror I like it where it really kind of is suspense, but also I'm an 80s horror guy. Okay. I'm into the Friday the 13th,
Yeah,
Halloween, just going into we're talking about also Nightmare on Elm Street. So things like
yeah,
that. You
exactly.
can so
The
basically,
classics.
yeah, because you get into this point, you have a little bit of a storyline, and then bam, it hits you, right? You're thinking you're in a normal situation, and then this huge thing happens. Versus ones that's constant, just all just blood and guts, and not really telling a story.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what draws people to the original one from 2008. It's kind of presented very unflinchingly and very realistically, and you know, when it comes to home invasion movies, there's always that fear of like this is something that could happen. This is something that feels in the realm of reality in a way. Um, and yeah, I think we worked to kind of keep that tone present in this one as well.
No, you got to keep that tone because you never know what's happening. And I think that there's so many forms of horror movies now, and
Yeah.
in suspense, you really don't know which one is what you like, and different things like that. And if fans of The Strangers, back, you said in 2008, did you go back and watch that once you got the role?
Yeah. So this is not necessarily a direct remake, but we definitely followed a similar silhouette to it. And I remember when I was auditioning for it, I hadn't seen the film yet, and so I made an effort to not watch it actually because I wanted my read on the character to be different. And once I got the role, I went back and I watched the film and instantly understood why it's such a cult classic. But also, kind of throughout this, the leads of the film, Maya and Ryan, and the leads of the film from 2008, which who are played by Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman, they're very different characters, and the relationship is very different. So you get to kind of follow a different kind of storyline in that regard.
And how do your fans feel, about this movie coming out? Because you have your fan base, right? Especially Teen Wolf and different projects you've done where you really went on the map. Are they excited about you having a different type of role?
I would hope so. I mean, I think a lot of the work that I've done has kind of been in the wheelhouse of spookiness. You know, getting to be on projects like Hocus Pocus 2 and Cruel Summer was definitely a thriller, and Teen Wolf is also in that realm of things. So yeah, I hope this is something a little more action packed and a little more of a popcorn movie, if you will. Um, so yeah, it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to it being out.
And what did you think of the whole when did you guys shoot this, by the way?
We shot this towards the end of 2022 in Bratislava, Slovakia. And not only did we shoot this movie, The Strangers Chapter One, coming out, but we shot the Chapter Two and the Chapter Three movie as well. So we did three movies over the course of about 52 days.
Oh wow. So when are the chapter 2 and 3 coming out? Are they like every 6 months or a year, or how's that working?
I can't say definitively, but definitely we want them to be coming out in succession in theaters. So hopefully this year.
Oh wow. So that's different to do that. Almost episodic in certain ways. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we basically sat down and I had this like 290-page script, and we just wanted to do this like epic horror odyssey over the course of like 4.5 hours, and split it up into a trilogy.
And surprising theaters, right? Because this fits into streaming as well. Wouldn't you agree? The way it's kind of developed, I think more and more people are seeing that we got to bring back people to the theaters, and the way to do it is to give them more quickly when they want something like, oh man, I can't believe this happened. I gotta wait for 2 to 3 years, or hey, it's coming back soon. And that you saw it in some of the other types of genres, especially in places that people are renting out theaters, more independent films, and how they can even
Mm,
put series on and different things. That I think that I'm sure that looking at that, the people who produced this and said, you know what, we need to get it where people want more, so they come back to the theaters. The theater has to be an experience, and
yeah.
I hope with content coming back like it's coming back, that we can bring it back to the theaters, because there's nothing like watching it on the big screen.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that was the goal of like our producers, Courtney Solomon and Madeline Petch, to just kind of have it be an experience and something kind of different. And you know, what better way to do it than in the horror genre, which is like something that's kind of meant to be shared with people. Like you're meant to kind of stream in front of your friends and kind of enjoy that experience together, you know?
Is Madeline a horror fan?
She is. She actually was a big fan of the 2008 one when it came out. He was like collecting blockbuster movies of horror films.
Hey, can you believe like how we wish we could like have a time machine, and when Blockbuster was hot, know what was going to happen with Netflix or about AI today, man? It's like, why can't we create a time machine? That's what we need to ask AI right now. Go on to Chat GPT 4 and type in, I'd like to create a time machine. Can you help me create a time machine? Because we could do the whole Back to the Future thing, right? And then we would know what was going to happen and be able to predict what's the next thing that's going to be hot. Because who would have thought, right? If we would have brought, what is this AI stuff, right? I don't know. I'm sure you grew up in the 2000s, but what is this AI stuff, right? Is
Yeah, I
that
mean,
crazy, Stu?
I'm
Or are
sure
you
AI will be
jumping on it at
exciting in a
all?
few years.
Are you jumping on it at all and playing around with it?
Not really, not yet. No.
You you have to, because it could give you strategy for your next role, where to go find it, all the different things. It's like basically getting every strategist in the world to come and just ask them questions, and like iRobot, if you're a fan of iRobot. So we definitely need to see a horror movie soon about AI. I think add that component, add it like in a different way, and go figure, you're going to end up doing those things. Do you have any other projects coming up that you want to talk about, Froy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting a new show at the end of the month called Shifting Gears, which I'm looking forward to shooting, but it's not coming out anytime soon. But just starting the production process on it.
So you can't say anything yet, and then people can keep catch up with you. Where's the best place they can catch up with you?
Yeah, and you know, I'm just on all all the social media platforms, but the main one is that The Strangers is coming out this Friday in theaters, May 17th.
Have you guys done the red carpet yet and all that stuff for
We
the
did
event?
we did it last week.
That's got to be, see, it's got to be great to go back and then see these people. And then you never know who's going to be there and have those conversations. What is the most asked question you get all the time on like by media? I'm just interested in this because I have a couple minutes with you.
Yeah, interesting. It kind of depends on the project, I find. Like for this movie, because it's a genre movie, I get a lot of questions about the genre itself. So it's usually like, are you a horror movie fan? What's your like relationship with the genre? That's kind of been the
Yeah,
main
because
one.
you can't give away a movie, just like you can't give away a book. So you got to talk about different projects and stuff like that. Should I recommend going back to some of your stuff you've done before and streaming? Just because, again, now once I have someone on the show, I stream their stuff. So go back and watch Teen Wolf and go watch what was your other one you said you were big in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really lucky to have been a part of a lot of projects I'm very proud of. So yeah, I mean, like Cruel Summers on Hulu, that's a great one. Um, and Hocus Pocus 2 is on Disney Plus, and yeah, if you want to check them out, they're available, they're around.
You were a part of Hocus Pocus too, so that's got to be cool. Of how crazy how Hocus Pocus just like blew up out of nowhere to a Halloween genre all the time. So that's cool, probably making that. So I'll tell my kids to check out Hocus Pocus too, and I'll check out Cruel Summer. So I appreciate it, Froy. Best of luck, man, with your career, and everyone needs to go check out The Strangers, Chapter 1 in theaters nationwide on May 17th. Thanks again, Froy.
Thank you, thank you so
All
much
right,
for having me, man.
you're welcome. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.